Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into something that is truly a game changer for planning your future and taking control of your own personal timeline: egg freezing. You know that question that kind of pops into your head every now and then? That little idea of someday? It can be super exciting to think about, but let's be real, it can also feel a little overwhelming when life is just so busy right now. So let's talk about the incredible technology that gives you the power to decide what someday actually means for you. I want you to think of it less as some complicated medical thing and more like a personal superpower. Okay, let's jump right in. First up, the big question: why? Why are people even thinking about freezing their eggs? Well, the main reason is actually pretty simple. It's all about preserving your options for the future. And the reasons why are so different for everyone. I mean, on one hand, you have really important medical reasons, like if someone is about to start cancer treatment or they're dealing with endometriosis. But then on the other hand, there are all these deeply personal reasons. Maybe you're laser focused on your career, you're still in school, or hey, maybe you just haven't met the right person yet. It's all about making sure your family goals can happen on your timeline. And that brings us to a super critical piece of the puzzle: timing. Because when we're talking about egg freezing, age is, without a doubt, one of the biggest factors in the whole conversation. And here's the science behind it all. It's a biological fact that both the number of eggs you have, your quantity, and their quality naturally go down over time. And that decline, it really starts to speed up after you hit 35. So what's that key number to really keep in your mind? It's 35. That age is widely seen as a pretty major turning point for female fertility. Freezing your eggs before then means you're basically capturing them when they're at their absolute peak health. And you can really see what I mean right here. In your 20s and early 30s, your fertility potential is at its highest point. Then in your late 30s, it starts to go down, and that trend just keeps going into your 40s. So egg freezing is almost like hitting a pause button. It lets you save that fertility potential from your younger years for whenever you're ready later on. So how does this whole thing actually work? I know it might sound really intense, but the main part of the process is actually a pretty short jury. We're talking just about 2 to 3 weeks. Let's break it down step by step. It all kicks off with just getting some info. You'll start with a consultation to talk about your goals, and then you'll have a simple fertility evaluation, some blood tests, and an ultrasound to see where you're at. With all that information, your doctor then creates a plan that is 100% personalized, just for you. The next step is called ovarian stimulation. Okay, so normally your body matures and releases just one single egg every month. The whole point of stimulation is to use hormone medications to encourage a whole group of eggs to mature all at the same time in that one cycle. It's all about being efficient and getting the best number of eggs possible in one go. So this part involves about 8 to 14 days of daily injections, and you'll be going to the clinic pretty regularly so they can monitor how everything's going. Once your eggs are ready, you'll take one final trigger shot to get them ready for the big day. Then, like clockwork, 36 hours later, it's time for the retrieval. Okay, let's talk about retrieval day. This is the main event, and we'll get into the amazing science that happens right after. First things first, the procedure itself is super quick, usually just about 20 to 30 minutes. And you'll be under sedation, so you'll be nice and comfortable and won't feel a thing. The specialist uses an ultrasound to see what they're doing, and honestly, the recovery is really fast. Most people are back to doing light activities the very next day. And now for the really cool part, the magic. Right after retrieval, the eggs are frozen using this amazing technique called vitrification. Now, this is nothing like making ice cubes in your freezer. It's a flash freezing process that's so incredibly fast, it turns the liquid inside the egg into a glass-like state. And this is so important because it prevents damaging ice crystals from forming, which gives the eggs a really high survival rate for when they're thawed out later. And where are they stored? In liquid nitrogen at an unbelievable minus 196 degrees Celsius. I mean, think about how cold that is. At that temperature, all biological activity just stops. The egg's biological clock is literally frozen in time. So, the eggs are safe and sound, frozen away. What happens, maybe years down the road, when you decide you're finally ready to use them? Well, the process from here is pretty straightforward. Your eggs can be stored safely for more than 10 years. When the time is right for you, they are carefully thawed or warmed up. Then each mature egg is fertilized in the lab. If a healthy embryo develops from that, it's then transferred to the uterus, and from there, hopefully, a pregnancy begins. So really, when you step back and look at the whole journey, it all boils down to one thing. Egg freezing is all about creating options for yourself. It's a way to give your future self the freedom to build a family on a schedule that actually works for you. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a life that's so unpredictable, what could having more options, more control of your own timeline, truly mean for your future? Before we wrap up, I just want to say that this whole discussion is for educational purposes only, and it is definitely not a substitute for professional medical advice. You should always talk to a doctor to get personalized guidance. For more information on the entire IVF process, you can visit the portal at ivfforme.com. Thanks so much for joining us.